We got a bit of a job hunt in today's episode, so let's get into it. So I'm hoping today's episode is a little bit of a shorter job hunt because the job that I've been discussing over the past couple episodes is now available. I just hope that I'm not trying to step my prestige as a head coach or a head manager. And that job is in Chile. Chile. It is Colo Colo. Really interested in this job. Looking at it, they've got good youth facilities, good training facilities. Three-star reputation as a club. I like the badge. That's one thing I have to consider. It has to be a good badge. Okay, so it has to be a good badge, and it has to be a club that I just think sounds fun. I think this looks like a fun club. So I'm going to apply for this job. I wanted to actually look a little bit at their history. If I can, I'm really struggling looking for history. Looking at their overview, they've won. I'm guessing this is the league. It looks like that's the league 32 times. They look like a pretty good club overall. I mean, I know they're a really good club overall. So from what I understand, they're the top club in Chile usually. So I think we're going to apply for this job. One thing I want to do, though, before we do it, or before we take a job, sorry about the loud noise. Just I picked up my keyboard and slammed it down. Sorry. Okay. So one thing I want to do, if I can find like a kit for Chile, like a kit pack for Chile, I want to load that up, see what the kits actually look like as well. Because, like I said, I think that should be a deciding factor as well. I want a cool kit. We hadn't had kits in South Africa. I wasn't able to ever find a pack for that. That's a job I'm interested in. Also, really interested in this job. I don't think I'll ever get this job. The Santos Laguna Club in Mexico. Looks like a pretty good club. Looks like a really good club. That'd be a lot better of a job than the Chile job. Looking at some of the other clubs, I thought I took South Africa off of this. Let's go ahead. Okay, I took South Africa off. I guess it's just sitting there still. Trying to see if there was any other jobs that we would be interested in right off the bat. Those two are the ones that stands out the most. I don't see anything else that's available right now that really interests me. I'm looking at like 3 stars right now. I know I'll probably have to change my expectations and go down to 2.5. But for the time being, we're going to shoot high and look for 3-star clubs. Not really seeing. I mean, there's some right there that I hadn't looked at. We'll go back and look at those. I'm trying to look at nations as well. So we got those 2 jobs that we discussed up there at the top. We got a handful of them here. A couple in Argentina. Got this one. They got a little knot badge. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. A little bit. Not a huge fan of it, but it does look pretty good. We have this team right here in Brazil. Simple badge, but I like it. It's a clean badge. We got Nacional in Uruguay. Not really a big fan of their badge. We got Deportivo Cali. No, not really feeling that one either as well. This club here that I'm not going to try to pronounce. It's okay, not great. At the LA Galaxy, I did want to manage in America at some point. I don't know if we're going to, but I think it'd be fun. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to apply for these top 2 jobs for right now. See what happens. And when we come back, I will have the kits loaded up so we can actually see what the kits look like in these 2 clubs. I just got done doing the Colo Colo interview, and it was a good interview. I felt like it went really well. The club in Mexico turned us down. They said, hey, nope, we're good, I didn't actually read the reasoning behind it, but I assume it was just because they was a little bit higher of a level than what we are. The Colo Colo interview was interesting, though. Their transfer budget was around $8 million. Wage budget was around the same. One thing I'm hesitant about the club, and this is just me trying to make it realistic, the owner of the club is looking to sell the club relatively shortly. So that is a hesitation I have about taking the job, that I would have in real life. So I'm still interested in the job. If they come to me, I'll probably delay it, see what happens. And if nothing materializes, I'll probably end up taking the job. But I have applied for another job. And I know I said I didn't want to manage in the U.S. now, but there's a job that I'm interested in. Wrong one. I want to go to security. That I wanted to apply for, mainly because this club is relatively close. It's one of the clubs that's closest to my home state. It's Orlando City. I'm from Alabama. I don't know if I've ever said that. I don't live there, but I am from there. Orlando City is a pretty close club. Them, you have Nashville SC, which is actually the club that I like in the MLS, which is the yellow kit up there. You can't really see it, but I do like Nashville SC. Hadn't really ever got into it, but I think that would be the club that I watch. But I am interested in the Orlando City job. I've applied for it. They have a really high estimated value. Haven't got an interview with them yet, but this is a club that I would be interested in taking. So we've applied for that job. We do have a couple more jobs. The club from Brazil that I don't know how you would say that. I'd have to look it up. It has opened up. The only issue I have with this one, it is in the tier 2 of Brazil, so I probably won't take that job. Probably won't interview with it. Another club has opened up here. I'm not sure about this league. Is this Peru's top league? It looks like that is Peru's top league. So there's another candidate we have. We'd have to come up with a name for it, because I ain't saying that every time. What do they call it here? Yeah, Cesar Vallejo. I'd have to look that one up. Sorry about butchering that. Nothing else has materialized that I'm super interested in. LAFC is coming close to being available. That job we've discussed. San Martin in Argentina. Probably won't do that one. They're a little bit, I think, outside of our experience. The Vancouver Whitecaps is opening up. From what I understand, they're a pretty good club. I don't know if I've seen anything else popped up. That looks about it. So I think we're looking at Colo Colo. We're looking at Orlando City, maybe LAFC if that job opens up. And if none of those jobs open up, I guess we'll be just kind of chilling out, waiting for a club to. Well, I like that badge. Super simplistic, but I do like it. That might be a job we can look into right there if that job comes available as well in Colombia. I'm guessing this is their top league. Looks like it. So that is another possibility we have there. Just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update. We hadn't been out of the job too long, so there's plenty of time. But we did just complete a job interview. Before I leave, we didn't look at the kits. I loaded up the chili kits. So they're not great. They're not great, but they're not just flat out awful. Not a huge fan of them. I think the badge makes up for it. Unfortunately, the Colo Colo job did not work out. They ended up going with somebody else. The club that we applied for in Mexico, they finally hired a coach, creating a little bit of a trickle down effect. And another job in Mexico opened up, which was one of the clubs I was really interested to start with. And it was FC Juarez. It has opened up. We have applied for the job. We have interviewed for the job. So that we have interviewed we've interviewed 2 out of the 3 jobs we've applied for. We've interviewed the Juarez job. We've interviewed the Orlando City job. And we hadn't interviewed with the Whitecaps. I'm sorry. We hadn't interviewed with the Whitecaps. But as you've seen in the emails, Orlando City has approached us to become their new manager. They're giving us a $3.1 million transfer budget, $15.53 on the payroll. I don't know what to think about it because, I want this job. I want the FC Juarez job. But I think it'd be fun to do the Orlando City job as well. So what I'm thinking is we're going to delay this job, wait it out, see if something happens with the FC Juarez job. And if it becomes available, we're going to look at the transfer budget of it, payroll budget of it, and we're going to make a decision then. I want to manage in the MLS. I'm just kind of nervous because of all the crazy rules. I've heard that it really doesn't translate that well into FM, but I would like to try it, you know, on my own to see if I do like it. And I think this would be a good club to do it with. But like I said, I think what we're going to do, just for the time being, to see what happens, because if we go to the MLS, I'd prefer going to the Vancouver Whitecaps. They've got better facilities. I'd prefer that. But like I said, time to delay. I want to remember that, though. Let me write down the transfer budget and the payroll budget. So, OC, they're offering 3.1 on the transfer, and wage is 15.53. That way I can just easily come back and see what happens. So we're going to delay it, see what happens, and we'll be back. Still a little bit of a dum-dum. I recorded the last 2 parts of this episode, and I did not have my mic on. I had it muted. So all of that was worthless. I didn't think I was going to have to record today. I'm going to have to just a little bit. So a little bit of recap of what happened before we took the job that was in the parts that I had the mic muted. We did not receive an offer for the FC Juarez job. They ended up going with somebody else. We did have another job offer for the Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS. And then we had the Orlando City job, which we ended up taking mainly because they had more transfer budget and more payroll budget than they did at the Vancouver Whitecaps, which led us to take this Orlando City job. And it's going to be really it's going to be really tough. As you can see, the squad is really small. I've done some research into the rules of MLS on FM, trying to figure out how it kind of works. Not 100% sure how it all ties in. I am having a little bit of issue with some of the stuff on the squad. It's not a bad team, but it's just not a really good team. There is some players that we want to highlight. Their top goal scorer is this fellow right here, Brian Anguello. He is their striker, 4.5 star, 4.5 star potential ability. Looks pretty good. He's banging in 8 goals for him, putting up a 7.21 right now. Another gentleman we want to highlight is Norton. He's their right back, or he'll be our right back. Looks pretty good. One guy that I'm excited about is this Joe Warren fella. He's a right winger, inside forward, 3-star, 4.5 star potential ability. Looks like he's a pretty good player. I think they drafted him in the super draft. It's really complicated, the MLS. In the next episode, I am going to put a link to a playlist that I found on YouTube of this gentleman talking about all the different changes and all the different rules that we have to go through with the MLS. But like I said, it's going to be a really tough thing. We're going to go and dive deep into the roster in the next episode, though. And that's it, really, guys. This is the squad that we're at. I'm excited, but yet I am really nervous. Once again, I apologize for the weird little last part of the video and this part. I didn't think I was going to have to record. Went to render out the video. Noticed that there wasn't no sound on the last 2 parts of the video. So here we are. Kind of threw myself for a little bit of a loop there. Not exactly sure what all was discussed in the video before those parts. But anyways, if you enjoyed that video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the new club. Like I said, we're going to dive deep into it next episode. So I'm looking forward to that. And once again, guys, thank you for watching.